Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your match reaction show. It's finished Middlesbrough 2, Ipswich Town 1, and we are partnered with Matchday and Stowmarket Osteopaths. We want to hear from you this evening. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings following a disappointing evening? A defeat for Kieran McKenna and his side. We want to hear from you. Get your opinions into our live chat. You can come on the show and have your say if you want to. There'll be a link in the chat very shortly, or perhaps you just, I don't know, you're not happy enough, you don't want to appear on the show, whatever reason it might be. But don't forget, you can, of course, give us your opinion on our voicemail service. It's not actually a phone call. You're not going to get charged any minutes or anything. It's a voice message service, speakpipe.com/talking town. You don't even need to leave your name or any information. Just give us your opinion and we'll play it on tomorrow's show. Funny, angry, indifferent, whatever it might well be. I'm joined by Stephen Parry and Ben Adams. Before I get their opening remarks on this evening's game, we've got Rob Holmes, one of our YouTube members. Thanks, Rob. Hurst, woeful. When are we going to realise we're not as good as we think we are? Andy says, Parodian Andy says, it's always the same story. We need about 1,000,001 chances to score. Our opposition are guaranteed a goal in 4 or 5 attacks max. Mabby, Hurst cost us that game, according to Mabby. Momentum changed at half-time, 1-0 down instead of 1-0 up. Terrible penalty, says Neil. Mario Tarico says Furlong, not rating Furlong's performance tonight. I thought Furlong was the least of our problems this evening. Ben, I'll start with you. Town have lost 2-1. What are your instant reaction thoughts?
I'll tell you this. That was a third fall at the beginning of the game. I'll tell you, that was absolute. It's everything that we're awful at, you know, and it starts from the top of Kieran McKenna with that one style of play. It was clear after 45 minutes we were at 6s and 7s. We needed a change at half time. We needed a change before 68 minutes or 65. But he will never, ever, ever do that. And again, our play is so predictable. Middlesbrough knew exactly what was coming, exactly what formation, exactly how we're going to press them. We need so many chances to score. I mean, I'm still collecting my thoughts a bit, but that was as... It's everything bad about Ipswich Town when we're bad, all in one game, from the manager downwards. The only player that even walks away with that with his head held high for me is Palmer, just for that 10 minutes of, you know, he's like the Aston Villa game, for Christ's sakes. He was just so, and he could do nothing with the goals, really. I don't know. I'm still collecting my thoughts. Come back to me.
Steve, what are your instant reaction thoughts before we dive in deeper?
Well, yeah, you can say it goes from the top, and McKenna, I get that. But at the end of the day, the players didn't perform. For the first 60 minutes, we were awful. You know, we were average. Yeah, we just weren't at the races. Everything, they were first to everything. You know, we were trying things and it was breaking down and we were getting broken on. You know, and sorry, yeah, we can blame the manager, but we've got to blame the players as well. We've got to turn around and say, look, none of you played well. None of you did what you were supposed to do. When you cross the line, it's on you. You know, and you could tell they could do it because as soon as he made some changes, we looked like we were a different team. A completely different team. I agree with Ben. The changes should have come sooner, and I'd love to see him at 45. You very rarely see that from any manager. You usually always give the first team first half 10-15 minutes to make the change, you know, to try and rescue the game. You know, that's usually every manager. And he changed at 65, which was sooner than we usually do, which was happy, you know, and they made a difference. You know, yes, would they have made a difference at 45? I don't know, but it would have been worth a go. But again, managers very rarely do that, so I'm not going to criticise him for that. I just think it's on the players tonight. You know, they look like they were still on the coach. For the first 60 minutes, they looked like they were just still on the coach. You know, I said at half-time, the only person who came out of that first half with any credit was Palmer. And I stick by that. The rest of them were bloody awful. I'm not sitting here blaming one player. They were all awful.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, we can blame Hurst for missing a penalty. Every player misses penalties. You know what I mean? He just went the right way. It was a good penalty. He just went the right way.
Was it?
If he went the other way, but it's turning around and saying he's a hero. You know what I mean? It's small margins in penalties.
It was a terrible penalty, Steve. It was a terrible penalty. It was a terrible. It was
when they were, you know, when the ref was pushing their toes back against the 18-yard line. I I just knew. I'm in a family WhatsApp group. We all go and watch football together. I was saying, there's no way we score this. Hurst will not score this penalty. And since he opened his big bloody mouth to say it's my bread and butter, that's what I do, that guy's form has fallen off a cliff edge. And you're right with what you say about, you go one or two ways and it's 50% luck, of course. But he doesn't hold up the play. He is isolated a bit, yes, but he doesn't hold up the play. He's lost 2 yards of pace. And I don't know what that's about, but he has lost pace. We did not replace a striker in the summer that we knew was going for 5 months before that bloody transfer window, and we did not, and it is costing us dearly.
Yeah,
agreed. I don't disagree, but he wasn't getting any. And at the end of the day, everybody criticised him for not holding the ball up, and that's a fair point. But he gets very little service. Smodic was doing nothing. Nobody. The midfield just was not getting the ball forward at all. And he was feeding off scraps. I thought Matasiwa was poor today.
Yes.
Very little pressing.
Yeah.
I think Hurst was trying to do too much. He thought he was Pele at times and losing the ball so easily. They should have got the ball and released the ball. But they just kept keeping the ball and holding onto the ball, thinking they could pass around them. And they couldn't. And in the end, there were so many people around Hurst by the time they got the pass off. He was never going to get the ball. He was either barged off it or they just took it off his toes. You can't blame a striker when the midfield just hold on to it too long.
You're right about Matasiwa. You are absolutely right to call out. That was, for me, his first atrocious game for us. He was so slow. He overhit passes, he underhit passes, he lost the ball, he lost out in 50-50 tackles, he lost out in the header balls. He just had a really poor game, which does show that when you have a really great central midfielder pulling those strings, what a difference it can make. And as good as he was at Norwich and all of that, he was absolutely atrocious today. And Hurst, look, Hurst clearly is a very good player, but I'm going to break ranks on this one. He is not worth the hype that people give him. He's good. He is good and he's calm, but he ain't what people think he is. And all the stuff last season was saying, God, can you imagine Hurst in the Championship? It's almost like a hack. I'm like, really? What have you seen?
Maybe we weren't that bad. They swarmed around Matasiwa and Hurst and we couldn't find a way out. STST, I think even at the start of the season, the top six finish was amazing. McKenna has until the end of next season, in my eyes. We were a League One a few years back. Keep it calm. We're getting there. Appreciate the comment. Don't agree with it at all, STST, but appreciate the comment. Do keep them coming in. We've got loads coming into the chat, which I absolutely love to see. Unlike the performance tonight, I did not love to see that. At least let's not be about the bush. Borough wanted it more. We have a Syria midfield player that looks non-league. We need a striker. We need to get rid of. Sean, midfield non-existent. We wonder why we wanted Hackney. No plan B. Again, we are far too easy to play against. Yeah,
no. That's not right. We are not too easy to play against. We're too predictable. There's a difference. A team who plays us in 7 games' time can plan their game against us right now because we're only going to do one formation. We're only going to do one thing. We're predictable. We're not easy. And there's a big difference. And it's the greatest sin, in my opinion.
Every team usually plays one formation. It's how the players implement that formation. At the end of the day, we played the same formation. I saw a stark difference between the last 30 and the first 60.
I agree with that.
So we are totally capable of doing it. We can do it from 90. We've just got to start doing it from 90.
But we needed 4 subs on at once to do it.
Yeah, but we have got the players because we made them look ordinary in the last 30 minutes. They were clinging on for dear life in the last 30 minutes. I'd like to see Nunes starting that centre midfield role instead of Keys.
So
he's got that forward ball that can bring Hurst into play when he runs. Hurst was making plenty of runs. A couple of was offside, but the ball was being played to him from Nunes. It wasn't being played to him from Hurst. And I'd like to see more of that.
Okay. If you like your town news, views, fan opinion and more, hit the subscribe button. Join Talking Town. We're live again tomorrow for a more in-depth reaction. This is your instant reaction. And I want to talk about, obviously, the first stuff. Let's start there first and foremost. Kipre passes it into, I think it's Matasiwa or it could be it's somebody in midfield. Passes it into midfield. The ball is given away.
Yeah, it's one of their players.
Alex Palmer pulls off a good save. He then pulls off a second good save, a third good save. And then we win a penalty. And we think we may go into half-time 1-0 up. And we miss the penalty. And then we go into the half-time 1-0 down, and the man that started sort of that huge wave of up and down momentum and back and forth was Kipre, and he puts it into his own net.
Do you know what? Did anyone see him on Sky warming up just before the second half started? He looked absolutely fucking broken. But the cameras focused on him for about a minute and a half. He looked absolutely, completely destroyed. And he comes across as such a smiley man and everything. So I know it's not his kind of resting bitch face or anything, but he looked absolutely shot. I wonder, I mean, look, Kipre was the answer to Greaves because Greaves has been bang average for the money we paid for him. I wonder if it's the fact that maybe we've played not great teams and Kipre's looked great. And unfortunately for me, now Greaves is going to come back in, clearly, and he's not much better in different ways. It's just a doom loop, our defence. I'll tell you, it's a doom loop. Always has been for years.
You thought Palmer, obviously, he made some good saves in that exchange there I just detailed, Steve, and he's one player that sort of, certainly did not deserve to walk out of there on having been beaten.
No, and at the end of the day, it's got to be said, though, they had all these chances, but most of these chances were caused by us. The goal was caused by us. If Davis should have been stronger, Davis should never have fallen over as if he was like just slipping on ice. He looked like Bambi on ice, and he just slipped over, and then he just hit it in, and then Kipre couldn't get his feet sorted out.
It always comes through Davis. In every goal we can see comes through Davis.
For the goal, it took a little nick, and he couldn't get his feet sorted out. You know what I mean?
But it happens every game, though. How many goals come through Leaf? He's so good going forward, I agree, and he's got his form back going forward. But that guy is shite, poor defender. So many goals come through Leaf. So many goals. Every single game.
I just think he made the wrong choice. Because it was in the box, he made the wrong choice. If he'd have made the choice he made against Norwich and slid in for the ball, and cleared it out for a corner, in fact, he just didn't. He made the wrong choice. He should have done what he did at Norwich, even though it gave away a corner and they scored from it. He should have done that. It's better doing that than letting him have a straight drive and a straight shot drive into goal. But that could only go one way once he got it. He'd done the right thing and showed him down the line. There's nobody else in the box. That's all that could have happened from that player in that position was hit one of our players that go in the net. That's it. So in a way, it was very unfortunate. But we were like I said, Kipre played the ball to the player. When he didn't need to, he could have banged it downfield, and it put us in trouble. And they had 3 chances because of it. Most of their chances were coming from our mistakes, and that's where we need to sharpen up. I don't like this. Greaves is better than Kipre, or Kipre is better than Greaves debate. I don't think it matters.
Players, they're both as shite as one another. Today it would have been.
Players make mistakes. They're human beings. I can accept that. I've seen Greaves play, and he's been blocking this, that, and the other, and then he gets a red card, and all of a sudden he's worst player on the pitch, because he got a red card. But nobody thinks about the 5-10 blocks that he's put in, and that's for some reason doesn't cover what mistake he makes. They just look at the big mistake and say, well, that's his fault. I think you have to look at the all-round play. They both did, they try the best, they're doing the best. Sometimes things go against you, and I don't think that was Kipre's fault. There's not much you can do about it. I think he made a mistake with the pass, but everybody has brain farts,
But having gone in a goal down, Ben, the reaction coming out of the changing rooms to the second half was going to be key. I think that's what we all felt in the Discord Matchday thread, and probably a lot of fans in other WhatsApp groups and whatnot. But Borough were the team that sort of flew out the traps and put the game to bed effectively.
And you know what? And that right there is when you need a captain. And O'Shea, who is good defensively, he got a great goal today. Good goal. Really liked it. Set piece. I thought of you guys, all of that. But that's when you need a captain. And O'Shea is a lot of things, but a captain he is not. Take away a 30-second pre-team talk at Norwich, and everyone thinks he's bloody Roy Keane, but he that's when you need a captain and you need a goal scorer, and those two things change games, and we had neither. He's too quiet, and I was and after about it was apparent at about 55 minutes, which is like that they could skin us today. We never got off the coach. That's when you need a Sam Morsey to get on there and put the fire of Christ into them. And we don't have that. We don't have a leader on the pitch. Whatever your view is of it, we do not have a leader on the pitch. You disagree, Steve?
I do. At the end of the day, I think you could put Sam Walsh on that field. It doesn't make any difference. You can have a captain on there.
Disagree with that.
No, you can't. I do. You can have a captain on there shouting at players, and they've got to do it. The manager's just gone in the changing room and probably given them a right good rollicking. They still didn't do it. You know, you can have one player on the field telling every player, if they don't do it, it makes no difference whether he says anything or nothing, because they're still not doing it. There should have been changes at half time and there wasn't. I understand why there wasn't, but there should have been. Yeah. And the players for 60 minutes were not doing what they were supposed to do. They must have been given instructions and they didn't do it. They were told at half time and they still came out playing the second half like they played the first half. Yes, you can blame, say the captain should have told them to do this, that and the other. But the captain can't go up top and start shouting at his attackers for not doing this.
Yeah, but then you negate the reason for having a strong captain. If that's the case, then why have a captain?
Yeah, but equally, you've just left the changing room. You've just left the changing room fast. A fast start.
All this information from the manager.
Yeah, a fast start.
The captain is a representative of the manager in the game.
But
and we're missing it. We're missing
when you come out of that second, my feeling is when you come out for that second half, you're a goal down. You know the home side are going to be looking to put this game away. Go straight on the front foot. Go for it, and see if you can put them to bed early doors with flying out of the traps.
Put it to the chat. What does the chat think?
Well, the chat agree. The chat tend to agree with you, but I don't think in that moment it's about captaincy. I think it's about reaction, and I think it's about coming out of the changing room fast, and that's something we've not done. And I think if you look over the last 18 months, it's not something we've done consistently, or rather, it's something we've done consistently in the wrong direction. Come out of the changing room, started slow.
I don't want to say a strong captain doesn't matter. It does. Yeah,
it does, but not in that moment. I
don't know whether O'Shea's a strong captain or not. And I don't think many of us do, because we're not on the pitch. We're not at the training ground. We don't know. Yeah, we just hear little bits from the stands, and sometimes it sounds loud. Sometimes he's saying more than what we can actually hear. All I'm saying is every single player needs to be accountable for themselves. Yeah, if our players are sat there going, well, we didn't do our jobs because we haven't got a strong captain. I'm sorry, you're weak as piss. Pardon my French. I want my players.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are.
Players to be accountable, and they were not. And it didn't matter. That's why I said it doesn't matter whether you've got a good captain or not. If your players do not take if they don't turn around to themselves and say, look, we're in trouble here. We've got to all collectively dig ourselves out of this. And they're just sat there going, well, I'm waiting for someone to tell me what to do. Then I'm sorry, we've got a bigger problem than what we're making out.
Yeah,
he did get the goal, though.
You've hit the nail on the head. Exactly.
And you could tell in the last 30 minutes, for some reason, something clicked. And I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was a change of personnel or a change of system or a change of attitude. Something clicked. They started going. I said at half-time, we're 1-0 down. We're looking bad. Go at them. What can we do? Lose? We're already losing. Just go at them. And we didn't. We came out and we looked exactly like we did at first half. And I thought, well, we didn't win first half playing like that. I very much doubt we're going to get it second half playing like that. And it played out the way I thought. But after subs, 25 minutes, with 25 minutes to go, I thought, we look a lot better. And we haven't done anything except changed a few players. And I'm thinking, I don't think the wide players made much difference, but I think the change in midfield, maybe even the change up front, and possibly just the idea, the added impetus of saying, we've got to dig this out. And the forward balls from Nunes, I think made a massive difference.
Okay. It's an interesting question. It's almost like a trivia one, but it does represent today. Yes, he's been on the subs. Can you remember one single move, shot, pass, block that Akpom has done since he's been at the club? I mean, any single moment since he's played in our colours. Can you remember any moment he's been on the pitch?
No.
Yeah. He should have scored at Sheffield United, but that goalkeeper made a good save. If that goalkeeper hadn't got his hand to it, that was in the net.
When he came on, one of the first early home games.
His hand diverted it away from his header. It would have gone in otherwise.
But they are few and far between. Yeah,
they are few and far between. But what's Sammy done? Come on, let's be honest. What did he do today? Nothing. He ran around. He looked nice running around.
Yeah, I mean that's you're right. That's another problem. I mean,
I just don't think you can make the argument. Take the 10 out and have two strikers.
Well, Sammy Smodics has very cleverly, I think, taken a leaf out of Hurst's book. You know, Hurst never scored a lot of goals for us, but he worked so damn hard when he wasn't scoring, he almost forgave it. Sammy Smodics is the hardest working man on the pitch. No questions whatsoever. But again, this is another player who is not scoring any goals and not even coming close to scoring. He had that sort of snapshot today, but he's not scoring goals yet. And Akpom is not scoring goals, and Hurst is not scoring goals, and Azon is not scoring goals. That's our entire front line not scoring goals.
Because I think it's the way we've changed playing. Yeah, we have two wide players now who like to cut in. Yeah, and they don't like to put crosses in. Burns last time and Davis were putting crosses in the box, meaning that the 10s and the number 9 had balls to run onto. They don't do that. They're going to spend most of their time trying to cut in and get a ball. Occasionally float a ball in, but more often than not, a defender and goalkeeper will get that. I do think if we had somebody like Nunes playing balls through, unlike Hughes, who doesn't do it, you might get more joy out of Azon, Hurst.
I agree with that. I agree with that completely.
Harp says Akpom has scored as many goals as Schmodics. What's your point in regards, I believe, to your Akpom question? David says not a chance of top
they're
6.
They're both massively underperforming for the roles that they're paid to do. That's the point.
And I think that and I agree with that. We've got David says we're not getting
self-evident, isn't
it? Dave says not a chance of top 6, and that's in regards to the fisherman saying top 6, not top 2, which is hard to argue against. O'Shea did get the goal though from a set piece. That's 2 set piece goals in back-to-back weeks, even a broken clock. Twice. I needed to see more from our set pieces before I start really praising them. In all honesty, I thought again tonight, other than the goal, they were poor.
It's a good goal.
The goal is important, but the goal is important.
There we go again. Is that the reason why Nunes should start? Because that was a bloody brilliant corner.
It was a lovely corner.
It was a spot on, you know.
Look, at some point,
corners like that, if he starts the whole game, because he's put in some good balls, and I think we need to start looking at free kicks, corners, and saying, who's the best guy to play that? You know, we're having Philogene and Leaf over him for most of the game.
Look, it's taking really well delivered. It's taking well-delivered set pieces or individual brilliance. I read an interesting stat the other day that if you take away the fact that Philogene's just, for some reason, operating on a different level, if you take away his goals, we're 4th bottom, I think. So thank God he's having the season of his entire life, because otherwise we're relegation fodder. Thank God for that. The points he's done and all the XG and the
quiet tonight, though, wasn't he? Quiet tonight, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't perform away from home, but we know that.
But then, at the moment, who does? Before you do, Steve, hang on. I was going to say, remember the word town, all in caps, because we've teamed up with Match Bingo to give you a deposit bonus. Match Bingo combines the excitement of live sport with bingo. Your card is 15 random events from a live football match, and you watch them get marked off as the game unfolds. You must be 18 or over. Terms and conditions apply, and now you can get 100% deposit bonus for using the word town, all in caps. Deposit minimum is £10, and while it's bonus cash and can't be withdrawn, the winnings can be. So get 100% deposit bonus by using the word town, all in caps. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Visit BigGambleAware.org for more information. Links in the description or scan the QR code on screen to play now. So we've got Chris that says this is Schmodic's level though, bought for all those goals he scored, and they aren't there. And this might be a question for a show with a little bit more time, so perhaps tomorrow or another show. But it has to become a point when you stop saying, can we change our reform away from home, and start actively looking for answers that aren't 4-2-3-1 cut, copy and paste. Like at some point, you're going to have to start thinking about, I think, your formation away from home, Ben, and thinking. I think there has to be a point, surely, because if your away form is not good, but you don't address it by moving away from how you operate, are you not going to get the same
Do you
results?
know what? The best managers in the Premier League do that better than anyone else in the world. That's why they manage in the Premier League. And Kieran McKenna was courted, and I reckon that's one of the really big factors that teams thought, no, this is not right for us. Because in the top league in the world, you have to be adaptable as fuck and do it quickly and know what the formation's doing. Kieran McKenna could be losing 5-1. He could be on a 15-game losing bounce. That formation will stay the same away or home. He cannot and does not play any other way. I love Kieran McKenna for what he has done, and I still think he's the best manager for us. But he's also human, and he's making very human mistakes. He is as stubborn as McCarthy when it comes to more formation, and McCarthy was ragged over the damn coals for it. Kieran McKenna gets away with it because he has had success and it works. But now is the time in transition where we need adaptability, and he is not adapting to the needs of a game in game, and that's important. Middlesbrough changed it 3 times tonight for us, the way they played. Wings, down the centre, then cut back and cut in. They've done it 3 times in a game when they won it. We stayed the same until we had to whack 5 subs on within 10 minutes.
Even then, you stayed the same.
Hey?
Even then, you stayed the same.
Correct.
You took out plan A and tried plan B, but in the exact same approach. Steve,
I just want to say that surely the formation wasn't the issue then, because he changed the players, played the same formation, and for the last 30 minutes we were better side. So the formation wasn't the issue.
But I was going to come back to you earlier on this. I agree with you. Last 30 minutes we were the better side, and that could be a different attribute of player inside that last 30 minutes. But equally, it could be that Middlesbrough are 2-0 up. Their mindset in terms of how they're approaching the game changes, does it not? They go from a all-out attack, all-out, going to try and end the game, going to try and get the goals, to we're going to be a more consolidation side and protect what we've got and keep it nice and tight and allow you to keep the ball. Because I say on the Discord, Steve, one of the biggest things that infuriates me is sometimes we've got to be prepared just to say, lumping the ball in the box is not a bad thing. We go from right to left, across the 18-yard box, back into midfield, back to the centre-half, to the full-back, back to the centre-half, back to the right winger, then across the box again. Sometimes you've just got to say to yourself as a side, it isn't a bad thing to occasionally put the ball inside the penalty area with a cross.
And the reason we look better, by the way, for the last 20 minutes is because they stuck 11 men behind the ball and they broke.
I disagree with you. That's the point.
Go on, Steve.
Up until that change, they were the better side.
Yeah.
And then so they were going at us. But we suddenly make these changes and then we're the better side. And so I just can't see suddenly we make them changes. Suddenly they're going to change. They're suddenly going to go, oh God, these have come on. We've got to defend. I just don't see how that can work. The players we put on and the way we played had to have had an effect to make them do that. Yeah. So
fair.
They didn't just go, we're 2-0 up, when just before our substitutions, they were having a go at us and still going for the third, So I just don't see how it can go from a situation where they're trying to get a third and really kill the game off, to go, oh, suddenly these players are coming on, we're gonna have to defend. I just don't see how that works. Mindset wise, that works. If you're going to still go for it, you're 2-0 up, go for it and go and get the goal.
But that's what happened.
Substitutions. You can say that's what had happened, but that doesn't mean that the players we had coming on changed the game to make that happen. Yeah, it's not a mindset problem of them saying we've got to defend now. It was our players forced that mindset to defend now. Yeah.
Okay.
And when we got the goal, it made it even worse. That's why they went to a back five, because they thought we could get out of it. We could lose the 3 points here. We've got to do something, make sure we keep these 3 points. And I just think those changes came too late. Those changes for me should have been at half time, and we should have really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck at half time. But we didn't, and I understand why we didn't. I just want to say about the team and think this, that, and the other, and McKenna. Yeah, you can say he doesn't change. Not many managers do. At the end of the day, Chris Wilder always plays the same way. Whereas Coventry's not changed the way they play all season.
Well, it's because they're beating their team 6-0 every week. Why would they need to? We need to.
But the point is, do we need to? At the end of the day, the players are good enough. We know the players are good enough. Yeah, we just had a hell of a lot of transition, a hell of a lot of different players coming up, getting up to speed. And yes, we could end up being a Leeds where we just miss out. And that's where I probably think we will end up. We end up being a Leeds just missing out. Yeah. But the top and bottom of it is it didn't do Leeds any harm the following season, did it? Do I want to?
Yeah, but I don't like this erosion of expectation.
No, I'm not eroding expectation.
I didn't.
Because I didn't. Look, I'm not sat. I've not put money on us winning the league. I didn't expect us to win the bloody league. Yeah, because I know what the championship's like. Anyone who says at the beginning of the season we're winning the league haven't seen the championship very much. Yeah, the top and bottom of it is we've still got a chance of winning the league, and I think anybody says we haven't is bonkers, because we could go on an unbeaten run like who were this? What Saints did 2 years ago, and go 25 games unbeaten. You know, anything can happen in the Championship. It's a full league. You know,
we won't, but we could.
You're saying we won't, but you don't know. That's the point. That's what makes this league so fun. You think we're bad because we've just lost. Everybody thinks we're bad because we've just lost.
Yeah, I love football.
I
Fucking
think
shit.
I think with a couple of changes, this team could be a good team. It
What
could
would
be
you
a very
change? What would you change? What if you were
I
Kieran?
do think Nunes needs to start in central midfield. That's my
I agree with
biggest
that.
challenge.
I agree with that. That's a good call.
I know this will be controversial. I think we need Greaves back in. I think he's a better passer out of the ball than what. I'm sorry, he is. I don't think Greaves would have played that long. He would not have played it into the midfield.
He got sent off in 38 minutes and been playing 10 men the whole time.
So a player gets sent off. That's his problem. No, he can block the ball and he can play a long ball. And we need long balls for players to run.
Do you know what we need this season? We need a Marcus Stewart signing in January in order to put that piece of the puzzle. And we need a striker to relieve it off of everyone. The midfield, the wingers, we need a damn striker.
I'm not even thinking of January because we need points before we get to that point. So let's get a team that can get some bloody points between now and January. January's a while off. You know, if everybody's talking about top 2 or top 6, both could be gone by January if we don't sort out our team. So let's sort our team out first and worry about January when it comes.
All right,
Josh Sargent.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Wow, what a show! Lots of passionate opinion, lots of passionate debate. I love it. It's what we're about here at Talking Town. Hit the subscribe button and join us. Don't forget, you're fine. Leave us a voice message on speakpipe.com/Talking Town. If you've heard something tonight you don't agree with. If you want to have a rant about your side, anything on everything ITFC and Talking Town related, leave us a voice message. It's as easy as a WhatsApp voice note, and you don't have to leave your name or any information. And even though it says voicemail, it's not a call. You're not going to get charged anything. Don't worry. Sean says defensively we are not slow enough to get promotion, and KM still hasn't proved he's got a plan B, and that will be his downfall. We are partnered with Stowmarket Osteopaths, quality care in Stowmarket since 1985. Osteopath and physiotherapy services. Give Freddie a call on 01449613633 and tell him Talking Town has sent you. I was there myself this week. Great service as always. That's Stowmarket Osteopaths 01449613633. We're live tomorrow, 6 p.m. Myself, Matt Phillips, Lee Anderson, and as always, live link, hopefully voicemails. So leave us some voice messages so we can at least have some conversation because there's not much to talk about at the moment. But that man there has been, it's been Ben. I think I'm pointing at Ben that side. I'm so worked out how to work this camera. And that man there has been Steve. I'll let you decide which one's which. But until tomorrow,
I need a cigarette. God.
Yeah. All right. On that. Yeah. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached the end. Thank you so much for watching. Hit here to subscribe. It's totally free. And hit here for more Talking Town videos. I'll see you on the next one.